Hello, Collective. Um, I apologize ahead of time because I don't feel my best and don't feel like I look my best, but we are going to go along with the reading anyway. So, in terms of this full moon, this is intense, obviously. It's a deep energy because it is an eclipse and it's also in Pisces, which is your third house. And we also have a Saturn retrograde going on in Pisces as well. So when we're looking at third house activation, you guys are going through a lot, especially as Capricorn is also sitting in retrograde. So the combination of all of these things is bringing about, how do you say, a lot of responsibility, right? So responsibility when it comes to how you will handle your third house matters. Differently than the way in which you handled them in the past. So, this is where we see a lot of things, kind of like what I mentioned in the larger video, uh, coming back and asking you to, again, take a different approach, put on a different perspective, and go about things in a way that is more harmonious and beneficial for you than how you would have dealt with something in the past. So let's dive deep into what I mean about like third house issues and thank you about third house issues and the way in which you can approach these things differently. So we're looking at communication, we're looking at siblings, we're looking at neighborhood. It also can be networking, business, the way in which you communicate yourself to your clientele, the way in which you communicate yourself to your close quarters. And I tend to say close quarters a lot when it comes to this energy because it's the third house right before we get to the fourth house, which is more like your home matters, which is also an activation because of what's going on with Aries and Chiron. So all of these things are coming together that's bringing you in the space of completing karma. All year, you guys have been focused on completing karmic cycles and what karmic cycles look like and how you are going to finalize them, finish them, and not go through them again. This is putting you back into a perspective based on obviously a long time ago, but also where you have been dealing with things in the Pisces Saturn energy. When Pisces has been in Saturn, obviously, for a little while, I think it's been a little over, we're going on 2 years of Pisces being in Saturn. And so some of you could have found yourselves obviously navigating new neighborhoods, new situations and places, languages, and different ways in which you want to communicate. This beautiful eclipse is coming in and saying, okay, how is it that you can take this energy and finalize old patterns or old themes? So I don't want to run into this issue again in terms of how this person and I communicate with each other. That's a very blunt statement, right? How can me and, let's say, my neighborhood have a better relationship with each other, especially for those of you who have moved recently or have tried to stabilize yourself where it is that you are, because we were talking about the Aries Chiron, and Aries being in Chiron has been making it so that you've had to address what makes you feel comfortable and safe since 2019. So since you've had to address that and understand that narrative through karmic cycles that could have been traumatic or difficult, whatever it may be, it's almost at its end point because it exits Chiron. Aries exits Chiron at the beginning of next year. And as it goes into its end point, you're getting this. September is this beautiful moment of let's look at this in a way that is more serendipitous, mainly because of the Virgo energy, which is saying to you, you can do this in a way that is better, that is more seamless, that is more complementary. So a karmic cycle of something that you dealt with before about, again, tied to communication, how people see you, how people are understanding you, is something that you can finalize this time around. And I mentioned this in the bigger video, but the more, the thing that I really want to describe the best is when it comes to, or I guess the issue of Pisces breaking through the illusion. It's interesting because I'm running into my own communication issues right now. But so breaking through the illusion, Pisces is asking for all of us, the entire collective, to cut through illusions, illusions tied to whatever house this activation is happening for you, especially again when we're looking at the Saturn. And it's been a theme that's been going on since Pisces entered Saturn. And with the retrograde side by side in this. So some of you can see yourself dealing with issues that are showing up in work that are also showing up in your sibling relationships, or again, where it is that you live, day-to-day matters. It feels like, okay, how can you be better at explaining who it is that you are, right? But also, how can you cut through the illusion of what it is that you initially thought that did not necessarily work in your favor? So this can simply be maybe you have been perceiving the way that other people see you, or the way in which you're perceived in the world inaccurately. And this can bring about a lot of pain. Okay, it can bring about a revelation that is hurtful. The thing about Pisces is Pisces can be lost at sea, right? Pisces likes the illusion and it feels safe within its illusion. But then when it gets pulled out of the illusion, it can feel very traumatic. It can feel exceptionally painful to get ripped out of the ocean and planted in reality, right? And I mentioned this in the healing circle, but as Capricorn placements, the thing about the sea goat is you guys know how to dream, you know how to feel, you understand water energy. But the difference is because of various traumas and things like that, and you being a Capricorn, you learn how to take the dream and make it reality. That's why Capricorn is the manifestor. That's why Capricorn is the one that knows how to create anything or generate anything, right? Make dreams real. It's because it takes that the water, the ability to see what is not possible, see things that are not in the practical. It can take that elusive, dreamlike state and put it in the bare bones of what is reality, or make structure out of it. So when we're looking at Pisces now, Pisces is someone that understands the merger of, I guess, the fact that reality is an illusion. And Pisces knows how to gain empowerment through the illusion. And if a Pisces not a Pisces person, but a Piscean energy gains its self-confidence, it can learn how to master the illusion instead of feeling like escapism is the only way that they can find refuge. So when it comes to this energy, it's asking you to cut through that illusion. And it can cause, like I said, pain, because maybe you've been misconstrued in terms of a situation. Like maybe you thought that people were understanding you and then you find out that they don't. Maybe you thought that the world was perceiving you one way and you're getting a harsh reality check that, let's say at your work, you're not being seen that way, or in your neighborhood, you're not being seen that way, or your sibling relationships, whatever it is in terms of how you communicate yourself, you're getting a harsh slap of reality of the fact that maybe you have not been communicating who it is that you are in the way that you have a thought or that you were originally thinking. And again, this is really big for those of you who are in new environments as well, like really having to look around you and understand, again, harsh truths about your circumstances and your situations. But the point is, when it comes to this beautiful Piscean energy, it's taking this, yeah, it's taking this and it's saying, okay, how can I heal this? So even if it's something that feels very borderline impossible, like the kind of pain that rips through you, because again, Pisces is, when Pisces gets slapped with reality, it's like, just imagine you're a seagoat, right? Imagine someone, actually, you guys have gone through this, taking you by your tail, wrapping it around their wrist, and ripping you out of the ocean. And yeah, actually, as a Capricorn, you know what that's like. You've gone through it many times. Uh, but for Pisces, it's 10 times more traumatic. A Capricorn can get ripped out of the ocean and says, all right, I'm on land. I've got what it is that I need. I can do this. If I have to kill my emotions, I can do that to do what I have to do, right? And then hold on to whatever dream I can so I can be comfortable here on land, right? That's Capricorn. Piscean energy is like, what am I doing on earth? What am I doing here? It's extremely traumatic. You're getting loss of oxygen. You're choking in it, right? So it's like that. So what it is that's hitting you can feel very sharp and it's very painful, almost like you feel like you're an illusion, and a desperation to want to be understood, a desperation to want to be seen for who you really are, and want to feel comfortable where you are, because you want the glass, the foggy glass, to be clear in terms of your identity. You know, or again, in relationships, it's the closer the relationship, the more painful the dynamic, right? Or it depends on who you are. If it's something that feels bigger than you, like it can be an environment, right? And for others of you, it can be a specific relationship that is causing you this pain and this strain. Like, I just want this person to communicate with me in a way that is progressive. I want to heal these wounds so that we can get to the other side. Especially when it comes to sibling relationships, some of you can be dealing with very painful dynamics with your siblings, or the way in which those relationships have been strained, and the desire to get to a point of healing. But when we look at this Piscean energy, when it comes to this full moon eclipse, obviously, but the beautiful thing is it's giving you the ability to look at things through a lens that is more compassionate. So even though you've been ripped out of the ocean and the sharp pain is hitting you like a ton of bricks, you also can feel this kindness in the air, right? Even if you're the only one that has it. And that's kind of the gift that's being given to you, in the sense of, instead of reacting to it, I mentioned this in the healing circle, instead of reacting to it, it's responding to it. Okay. It's saying, okay, if I'm not understood here, how can you be as compassionate to yourself as possible, as honest with yourself as possible first? And then with that honesty of self, you can say, okay, I need to consciously prioritize self. Conscious compassion is prioritize self first, and say, if I am not understood, if I am not seen, if I am not felt here, I have to do what is best for me. Okay. And for you guys as Capricorns, you can be, and I think I mentioned this in the bigger video, you guys can be the hard workers that say, if someone doesn't understand you, you're going to work really, really, really hard to be understood. You're going to try, you're going to do all of these things so that you're seen clearly in this world, mainly because you guys are at your core elusive. You're at your core water, so you know what it's like to get lost at sea, and what you guys desire so much in the 10th house, which is your appearance to the world, is to be people in the world that are living a life where you are understood, where you are practically uh, construed properly, right? Or understood properly. That's the mode of status, right? That's how it is. But it, again, a lot of it has to do with, and the obsession with refinement is because you're always trying to pull yourself out of the water, pull yourself out of the dream and make the dream realized. I don't just want to be um, I don't just want to think that I'm something, I want to actually be it, right? That's classic of your energy, but it can also put you in a space of wounding where you allow yourself to be taken advantage of, or bullied or hurt, or just way too stressed out about the perceptions that other people are having of you. The hard worker wants to work hard in the social dynamics, but you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that kind of pain. You don't deserve that kind of judgment, right? A part of the thing that makes Capricorn placement so judgmental is because Capricorn placements are used to being judged, right? And then again, the psychological desire to pull yourself always out of the water, right? Because the water is emotional. And so within being lost at sea, it doesn't really matter what's real and what's not, as long as the illusion is real for you, right? That's the way of our universe. Really, everything is water. But the practical reality, right, says, well, your illusion might be your illusion, but the main collective is seeing this and is feeling this and is thinking this way, right? Uh, so you guys can, again, get lost in the sauce in terms of trying to seek status, or trying to seek understand, because at your core, it's wanting to be understood. It's wanting to uh, be the true, at your core, the sea goat who also is dealing with watery things. But that mountain goat says, no, I am truth. I am practical. I am understood. Yeah, lost in the sauce. Yeah. I am practical. I am understood. Right. So I see your messages. I will look at them after. But yeah, so that's the thing, when it comes to this energy, yeah, you're going to hit some painful moments of a reality check. Whatever situation that you're dealing with, um, person, environment, that's going to hit you. But the beautiful thing is, it's offering you, especially as your Capricorn Pluto retrograde is here, it's saying respond differently. Don't react, respond differently. Give yourself grace first and say, okay, if I am not being understood here, if I am not being seen clearly here, if the communication, how do they say, don't argue with somebody that's hell bent on misunderstanding you? Okay, do that. Don't try to overwork it. Don't put yourself in a position where, and I mentioned this in the healing circle, a lot of the time, the desire for you to have control, when you feel like you don't have control, a lot of the time you submit and you surrender. You don't have to do that either. Okay. Prioritize what is best for you, the most healed situation that you can possibly have. That's a beautiful thing about Pisces, compassion, right? Self compassion first, compassion for the other, and heal the situation instead of resist it or react to it. Okay. And whatever reality has crashed down in front of you, get on top of it. If it is an understanding that maybe you're in a bind, or maybe there's a bigger issue tied to, I don't know, a relationship problem or a legal matter or whatever it is, understand, especially with Virgo here, still in activation, you can get out on the other side in a way that is more compassionate, one that is more heartfelt. Keep that in mind, and it'll bring you to the other side in terms of what it is that you need to do to navigate this energy, because it's a full moon, so it's closing cycles tied to this energy. Okay, to put you in a better position than one that is not. Okay, so that's what I've got for you guys. Hi, hello, thank you. Yeah, being more grounded in it. So yeah, so that's what I've got for you, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Love you guys.